Hello, I'm Michael Novak, and I'm here to get you started on an exercise routine. I've been on an exercise routine most of my life. However, I've also taken time off to examine the effects of living without it. And I can't say that basic exercise and having a basic exercise routine is going to help you in many ways across the entire spectrum of life, because your body is better able to handle almost every situation that it encounters, unless you're going on a mission and you just got smoked and your legs are completely done and you're so exhausted that you can't run away from the bear, so to speak. Anyways, we're going to start with Matthew 23:24. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Now, what does that mean? Straining at a gnat. Now, there was a time when I read it, and to me, in my mind, it was this big, strong man, and he's trying to swat a gnat away. Well, that's kind of in a way what it means, but what it really means is, in old times, people would have to strain out the bugs, like you're straining pasta. So instead of muscle strain, it was a much more simple approach having to do with food. I just didn't understand it when I was a kid, that people were eating a camel. And it says, don't eat a camel, right? And these people are eating a camel, but they're worried about a little tiny gnat. And when we enter into this exercise journey, you're going to find similar issues. Mine is tobacco. Tobacco makes me not want to exercise. I quit smoking December 26, 2021. And I haven't had a cigarette since, but I've had alternate tobacco substances or delivery mechanisms. So I'm still affected by it. I'm still at a loss because of my deficit. But exercise helps offset that. And because other people need help, I'm going to help them get started by doing it, and hopefully you guys join in. So what are we going to get accomplished? What are we going to get accomplished? We're going to go on a 6-week journey called BER, Begin an Exercise Routine. Beginning an Exercise Routine. And what we're going to work up to is working out 6 days on the 6th week. 1 day on the first week, 2 days on the second, 3 on the third, etc. Okay, so introduction. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who? Somebody's looking to start exercising. It might be you, it might be somebody that you know. The first step to exercising is hydrating. You gotta drink water. Safety comes before effectiveness. Effectiveness comes before efficiency. You have to put safety first, and safety is hydration. Warming up, cooling down, following proper lifting techniques, exercise techniques, etc. Being cool is the number one rule. And the way to be cool is to do things the right way. So we talked about Matthew 23:24. Jesus is talking about straining at a gnat. These people are worried about a little tiny bug, but they're not worried about the camel that they're putting in their body, which is really bad for you. They just didn't know that stuff back then. Same with bats, coronavirus. It says in the Bible, don't eat bats. Well, they didn't listen. So Leviticus, the commandments, number 1 and number 2, love God, serve only God. Number 1 and 2. Number 2 is love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor. To love God and to love thy neighbor, we can first do that by making ourselves better. If we clean up our own mess, if we even clean up the messes of others, I'm doing it with the wrong hat. Should be on this side, huh? There we go. If we clean up our own mess, if we clean up the mess of others, if we go above and beyond, we got to do 100% and then a little bit more. Okay, when we're ready to just quit, we got to do more. All right, that's how we love God, and that's how we love our neighbors. We do all of our stuff better, we do it the right way, and we get on the same page so that we can help each other. We got a president in this country who is not leading anything. Okay, people do not know what's going on, therefore they're scattered. They don't have a shepherd, they don't have a leader. They want the president of the United States to be the leader, but really who needs to be the leader is Jesus and his testimony and his gospel. And the way that he explained things was for the people back then. And they made enormous changes. They weren't ready for all the information yet. It needs to be re-explained to all the generations now because they don't understand it either. You got to take care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. So, starting this off, we're going to start with hydration. Wednesday is the first exercise day. And all we're going to do is warm up. We're just going to do a warm up. That's it. We're going to do the morning warm up before you go into the exercise. And then we're going to move into week 2. We're going to add the cool down. So you can cool down after the warm up, right? And then week 3, we're going to add the exercise. So it'll be 3 days, but only one of those days is going to be an exercise day. And then as we go forth, it's going to be 4 days total exercise, but only 2 of those are actual exercise days. The other days are just warming up and cooling down. And then week 5, we're going to introduce abs and that kind of stuff. All right? So by the time we get to week 6, we're going to have 2 days of abs, we're going to have 4 days of real exercise, and then we're going to have 6 days of warming up and cooling down. And that's going to give us 21 rest days. Okay, so in 6 weeks, you got 21 days of rest and recovery. It's plenty. You shouldn't need more than that, but 1 is more than 0. So, if you're doing your best and you need a break, 1 is more than 0. Just do 1, come back tomorrow, do it again. Try it again. All right, let's talk about the different types of exercises. Warm up. Warm up is dynamic motion. Okay, this is kind of like, moving your arms in a circle to warm up your shoulders. You're loosening up stuff, you're getting blood flowing to it, you're using it, right? Okay, these are warm up exercises. Exercise is broken down into, or the main exercise is broken down into conditioning, which is strength conditioning, which involves aerobic, anaerobic, and strength resistance all together. And then strength resistance training, which is focused on increasing your actual strength and capacity of weight and repetitions. That's like weightlifting and stuff like that. Cool down is static exercise, static stretch. It's almost as important as the exercise itself, because without mobility, the strength is not very valuable. Okay, so it ensures the range of motion, helps recovery, and improves functionality. So it's no use being a big, giant, strong guy if you can't take care of yourself in the bathroom. All right, so warm up. We got the bend and reach. You're gonna start with the hands above your head and reach down between your legs. Very, very slight bend. Well, we're not gonna go through all that. We'll go through each of those as I'm doing. Okay, strength resistance. Okay, strength resistance. You got your core exercises, and then you got your exercise or your accessories and your machines. The core exercises are going to be like bench press, squat, power clean, pull-ups, sit-ups, overhead press, and bent over rows. Okay, those are like your main muscle groups and the main things that you need to be lifted. All the accessories, which are also important, they support your main muscle groups, are like bicep curl, tricep extensions, leg curls, toe raises, shoulder shrugs, wrist curls, dumbbell rows, upright rows. All right, and then we have your alternate core exercises, which are variations. There's either 2 or 3 variations of the same main exercise, and then you have variations from that with dumbbells versus barbell versus body weight versus machines. So like incline bench, front squats, hang cleans, obliques, which is the side abs, vertical push-ups, pull downs, which is like pull-ups on a machine, reverse dips, which you're pulling yourself up. And then you got machines, which are really hard to train unless you're out doing like climbing rocks and just doing barbarian stuff, fighting lions or whatever. So lat pull downs, that's a machine. Hammer press, that's a football machine, it's really good. Toe raises, that works your calves. Leg curls, does the hamstrings. Squat machine, it's like probably a learning tool more than anything. or a safety. Squat machines are okay, but back raises, sit-up angle, rope pull downs, rope curls, rope flies, etc. Tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of strength resistance exercises. Okay, conditioning is increasing your speed, weight, and endurance. That's what you're looking for. So however much you're doing right now, we're just trying to do more than that. Okay, and we're going to structure it in a way where, you know, you start with a 6-week introduction cycle. We're going to do another 6-week introduction cycle for people getting on board, and then we're going to move into blocks 1, 2, and 3, which each of those are 12 weeks, 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is conditioning, phase 2 is strengthening, and then we'll break back down because we're going to be able to do it at a higher capacity. So we're going to be using our percentages of our total strength capacity of those core exercises. We're going to use that to plan out the 6 weeks before we get into phase 2. We're going to get our maximum strength again and then start over. So really it's 48 weeks by the end of the year. You got 2 intro phases, which is kind of like vacation phase, and then 3 major exercise phases. And then you get 4 weeks off for the whole year where there's no schedule, and then you got those 12 weeks with the intro block where you can kind of do whatever you want. But conditioning is a circle: strength, resistance, aerobic, anaerobic. Okay, aerobic maintains an accelerated but steady heartbeat. Okay, it's like jogging or riding a bicycle. You're just trying to keep your heart elevated for a duration of time. Okay, anaerobic maintains a very rapid heartbeat in short bursts or for a short period of time. That's like doing a sprint like a cheetah. Aerobic examples are walking, jogging, distance running, which is a more advanced exercise, but for someone like that, it would be, you know, aerobic. It's 40 to 70% of your total effort. Okay, applied over a duration of time that increases your endurance. Anaerobic is like sprinting, doing intervals, swimming, heavy swimming against the waves or something like that. That's 75 to 100% of your strength, and that's to increase your physical strength, your exertion force. Right? It also increases your oxygen capacity in your lungs and your heart. It makes those stronger. So when you do those sprints, it's like lifting weights, but for your heart and for your lungs. Okay? So anaerobic, it makes your heart and your lungs stronger. Aerobic is long distance. It's also making your heart stronger, but in a different way. It's not necessarily increasing the capacity to pump blood to the muscles, but it's creating the longevity of how long it can do that. Aerobic is like jogging, anaerobic is like sprinting. Okay, hybrids are like Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder is a really good exercise that you kind of have to control your own pace to make sure you're not morphing into that anaerobic phase, because it's very easy to switch back and forth in that machine and go slow or fast. It's modular, so it just naturally adapts to how hard you're pushing yourself. Okay, any aerobic exercise can be turned into an anaerobic exercise by increasing the speed. If you increase the speed enough, it will turn into an anaerobic exercise. You're going to have to rest because you're going to run out of juice. Okay, should mostly be considered in relation to the total effort put forth as a percentage of the current capability, but weight can also turn an aerobic exercise into an anaerobic exercise. Okay, strength, speed, conditioning. The physical fitness journey, day 0. I miss days. I don't feel like exercising. My body hurts. My schedule defeats me. Okay, hit the reset button. I have to hit my reset button and prepare to commit, want to commit. You have to want to do. You can't make a horse drink water. You have to want to drink the water to drink the water. Week 1, days 1 through 3, we're already 2 days late, so we're just drinking water. That's all we're doing. We're learning and we're preparing. Day 4 is warm-up exercise. Day 5 through 7, learn, recover, prepare. Okay, week 2, I'll give you a view into week 2. It's day 1 and 2, hydrate and prepare. That's Sunday and Monday. Day 3, warm up and cool down. Day 4, learn, recover, prepare, hydrate. 5, warm up and cool down. And then 6, 7, hydrate, recover, learn, prepare. And we'll move into week 3 and we'll update it as we go along. We'll make this stuff a little bit more professional as we go along. And we'll try to get everybody where they're at an improved state of capacity. Everybody can benefit from exercise. Okay, you got your 2 different types of muscle fibers. I'm not a scientist or a biologist or an anatomy major. You got slow twitch and fast twitch. Slow twitch is like strength and control, your negatives. Fast twitch is like explosive and focused. There's like punches and sprints. Okay, different muscle fibers support the system in complementary ways. Both must be trained, especially when intensity of weight increases. Support weight with muscles, not with your skeletal system. Okay, your cycles, your calendar goals. Intro block 6 weeks, intro block 2, 6 weeks. Block 1, 12 weeks, block 2, 12 weeks, block 3, 12 weeks, and no schedule, 4 weeks. It's 1 year, 52 weeks. We got slow twitch, back to slow twitch, and fast twitch muscles. We want to shock the muscles. Okay, if we get into the same exact routine, they're going to know what's coming. It's going to reduce the effectiveness of what we're doing because muscles have memory. Okay, so interval exercises shock the muscles. It's like jogging for a little bit for a certain period of time, then busting out into a sprint, and then going back to a jog. And keep doing that because it's going to activate the cool down system in the body. The body wants to cool down, it sees an opportunity to start pouring out sweat and burning calories and converting fat into energy and using the protein that's in your body. And then you start sprinting again, and it has to come out of that, right? So, and as soon as it gets another opportunity, it really wants to activate it again. So, by activating our body's cool down and then interrupting that process with increasingly extreme intensity, we rapidly activate energy reserves, or fat burning. All right, 1974, General Creighton Abrams charter. He wanted the Rangers to be an elite, proficient, fighting force, the most in the world, and to go back into the regular army and make the regular army better after they graduated from their Ranger company and deployments and experience and all that stuff. Well, I'm not in the army anymore. But it'll stop us from making a new army, all right? Make an army of citizens competent in the basic exercise routine. We can earn rank and awards, exclusive communications. You buy the warm-up cards and stuff like that. I've been operating off of this warm-up card since I was with the Rangers. If I could find it. There we go. That's what this whole program is, an old taped up warm-up card. I just taped it up in my locker room because I didn't want to mess up when I went out there and had to lead class. Because when you're in the Army, everybody has to be the class leader at some point. Okay, and then we can buy equipment to fill positions. So that's like positions in the enterprise, right? We need people who have not only the skills, but the capital to do that. And we need to do that, kind of off the books if we want it to be exclusive. So, basics, work, rest, and food. Go without food. Try fasting, see how important food really is. Okay, see how long you can go without any food. Make sure you drink water every time you're hungry. Every time you want whatever your vice is, if you have a nicotine addiction or candy addiction, you just drink water every time. Brush your teeth with non-fluoride toothpaste. Go without rest. See how long you can go without rest to find out the importance of rest. And, not only that, but the capabilities of your body without rest. Okay, if the first time that you have to go without rest is when some major stuff is going on in the world, it's not going to be a good time to learn and figure it out. You got to learn that stuff before. And rejoice in thy labor, but take a day off. Okay, God gave us labor, and He gave it to us so that we're not sitting around bored all day. I've been sitting around bored all day, every day, for far too long. Ever since I got out of the Army, I've just been sitting here, retired, nothing, bored, out of my mind. All right, so warm up. We're working up to 6 days a week, Sabbath, basic membership status. go get baptized in Jesus. Okay? So if you're not baptized in Jesus, just go in this, well, go into a church and say, hey, I need to get baptized. They'll baptize you. Or you can go out to the ocean with a friend and they can baptize you. You know, just say, do you believe in Jesus? You believe he rose from the dead? All that stuff. Do you renounce Satan? Do you repent of your evil ways? One of the most important things is to repent of our old ways. Because if we weren't doing something wrong, there wouldn't be any problems. There wouldn't be any problems. You know, we wouldn't have problems if we were not doing anything wrong. So obviously, we must be doing something wrong, all of us, because we all got problems. And we don't have problems because of other people. We have problems because our own actions are not setting the example for others to follow. Okay, we have to clean, we have to exercise, we have to eat right, we have to learn how to eat right, we have to learn how to make food because the grocery stores don't have food anymore. It's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff that we need to start working on together, but the only way we're going to be able to do that is to get on the same page. And to get on the same page, we need to have a page. We need to have a page, and you know, like, I mean, this is a pretty good book. You need to check it out. I would recommend for the current times the book of Isaiah. Very powerful book, and it's got a lot to do with what's going on in current times. So, if you got the cipher, if you bought the cipher, you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. But if not, you probably ain't gonna get it, right? All right. Well, that's it. Drink water. I will have a video ready by the end of the night, going over the exercise warm-up, basic exercise routine. All right, cut. So you need to start working out. Well, first thing you gotta do to work out is hydrate. Drink water, be safe. Safety comes before effectiveness. Effectiveness comes before efficiency. Water, water, water. Along with safety, we also have to warm up. Before we exercise, we have to get our body activated and get it going so we don't injure ourselves during the exercise process. First things first, let's get dressed. Gotta get dressed quick. Okay, so I'm going to use my little warm-up card and just go through the exercises. First one's going to be bend and reach. So bend and reach, you're reaching up, getting a good stretch. Feet are about shoulder width apart, so if you take your shoulders and you look down at your feet, it should be right about the same kind of thing. Okay, you can go a little bit wider, and you're coming down. Coming down to get a stretch in the back of your legs. Because these muscles right here, these muscles, well, of course I'm getting ready to hit the light. Okay, you're gonna do at least 12. That's what you're looking for. Just about everything. Okay, you should feel that right there, right from behind. Okay, that's basically it, the bend and reach. Next exercise, around the world. What we're trying to do here is get a little bit wider stance to where you can go down into a side lunge, right? We're gonna reach up, and we're gonna go around the world. We're gonna reach over here, we're gonna reach down, and we're gonna come over here, and we're gonna reach up. And that's it. We're just gonna upper body. Then we're going to switch it the other way. Me personally, I kind of like to do one way and then go directly into the other way. So, which actually I need to go the opposite side for you guys. So, start on this side. And we're looking for about, 12, but what we're going to do is just write down how many you can do. Get from this angle. Okay. Squats. Squats are the same as sitting in a chair. So, for it to sit in a chair, and then to stand, we'll be doing a squat, a seated squat. So we call those a box squat. Box squat. So you want your knees about right there. That's about where you want to go down for a squat. This is how you want to keep your back straight up and down. Okay, in line. Your head should be in line with your feet. Okay, if you're having issues with a squat by itself, use a chair. And you just sit down, and you don't even have to sit down all the way. Just what you want to do is go a little bit lower than what you need, and then just go down, touch it. Don't even sit down, just touch it. Now make sure you're doing a squat properly. You can put your hand over your head like this, or you can put your hands forward. Make sure that you're pushing up with your heels and not forward with your toes. If you go forward with your toes, then you'll put strain on your knees and possibly cause injury when you add weight. Because if you practice it wrong, when all your stressors kick in a situation, you're going to do it wrong. Because that's the way you practice. However you practice, that's how you will do it when it matters the most. Okay, squat. Okay, jump to the side. Okay, what we're looking for is weight going down on the heels. I'm going to go down on the heels and sit back. Okay. Okay, let's squat. From back, same thing. If you have a bar, you're going to be like this. Okay, I'm going to pull out my card because I forget. And the next exercise is the windmill. The windmill, we're starting down this muscle memory. It's like my hands were going to this spot from however many years ago I was doing that exercise. Okay, what we're doing is we turn our hands up, palms up, and we're going to reach to the opposite side and put our knuckles to the outside of that foot. And we're going to twist a little bit, keep the other arm straight. And we're going to feel it in our calves, right behind our knees, at the bottom of the quad, the hamstrings. And you're definitely going to feel it if you haven't worked out, or if you're not used to working out. You don't have to go past your point of flexibility. Okay, so you're just going down till you feel it. You're kind of activating. You're keeping your legs straight. Legs stay straight. Make sure you breathe. Usually you exhale on exertion. So you breathe in, like for windmill, since we're on windmill. Okay? Exhale on exertion. All right? Let's go to the next one, leg whips. These ones are really good. Need my chair again. So I'll just use an invisible chair. If you need help balancing, you're going to be standing on one leg and just swinging your other leg. Swinging it forward, swinging it back. Okay? You work your way up from holding onto the chair to just holding your hand above the chair so you have something just in case you fall down. And then to where you're actually balancing on your own legs. Okay? Do it till your legs warmed up. Probably at least 12. Okay? Then switch to the other leg. And you'll be able to feel it. If you're using your muscles and keeping those legs straight, you're going to be able to feel it. It's loosening up stuff in the hips, right here, and posterior complex, and even down here in the calf. Okay, so the same thing from a different angle, which I might have to turn this stuff around. I need to get my structure down. So that's why we're doing this one. We'll do this one, we'll do the next one better. I'm getting tired. My left leg definitely needs some of this. If it hurts in your muscles, you know, just go a little bit slower and don't push as hard, but keep moving. If you stop moving, those feelings are gonna amplify, especially if you try to start. It's like if you start running, then you start walking, then you try running again a couple minutes later, your cramps will kick in because you halted the process. And you know, now if you fight through those cramps, then it usually works out for you. Okay, so that's leg lifts. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go to the side. We're going to go like this. And this one's a little bit harder to balance, but all the principles are the same. Just swing your arms the other way, swing your leg this way, you're going left to right. And by the time we get to week 6, you're going to look at your video. See how long it takes? That's the best way to do it, where you don't have to write stuff down. You just take a video. You don't have to show anybody. Okay? I do, because I gotta show you guys. Do a video, record it, don't even watch it. Just see how long it takes. Okay? You watch it if you have to go back and write down how many exercises you did. But the point is to not watch it. Right? You just write down how long it is, delete it. You did it. You wrote down the time. That's all you did. All right? Balance and reach. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Take a small break. Bounce a little bit. Keep my leg muscles from cramping up. Because I haven't worked out since, realistically, really worked out, like the way I used to work out, since about 2011. But I got down here to Tampa. I did like some PT, you know, just to keep up with Army mandates. But I didn't really exercise every day like I used to. Everybody like kind of wanted me to slow down. But after I got in the Army, dead stop. All of this finesse is either from starving or from all the working out that I did when I was a kid. But okay, that's enough break time. Next one is balance and reach. This one, as you see, most of the stuff has to do with the legs, right? Because the legs are what's holding up this tank. It's what's holding up the turret. Okay, it's the most functional part of your body because it gets us everywhere that we need to go. So your legs, never skip legs. Gonna skip anything, skip your strongest muscle besides your legs. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're coming down on one leg and we're reaching forward with the opposite hand. Okay, and we really want to stay back on our heel as much as possible. You don't have to go down all the way. If you feel strain in your knees, don't go down any further. Okay, but that's pretty much what it is. You're just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Switch the other leg. Okay, if you gotta do 3 and then 3 again or whatever, you know, do it how you gotta do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing, you can use a chair to kind of balance yourself. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, again, I'll try to show you from the side so you can see what's going on. That's the bend and reach. I'm gonna push cut for a minute. Now we're doing the push-ups and push-ups plus. Let's see if I actually got enough room to do this with the camera set up the way it is. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. Okay, so push-up plus. If you have to go on your knees to do the push-ups, that's fine. Go down on your knees, do the push-ups. Okay, but the push-up plus is a push-up. Okay? And you're reaching over to the side. Push up. Reaching over to the side. Okay, do 2 push-ups. Reaching over to the side. You're stretching your pectoral muscles. Okay, just do a little pyramid. 3. and 0. Yeah. Okay, that's push-up plus. I don't know if I have enough strength to do it again, but I'll try. Okay, try to get lined up on these tapes. Okay, straight back when you're doing push-ups, on your toes and your hands, till your elbows break the plane, which is layman's terms for a 90-degree angle. I'm just going to do a small pyramid on this one. And 0. All right. And say, thank you, Jesus, for the labor. Thanks for trials, tribulations. And while you're in your little resting break, just swing your body around a little bit. Get those muscles moving. Okay, what's next? Squat, jump, reach. Okay, that's a mix between the squat and the bend and reach. Okay? All right, we're almost done with phase 1 of the exercise. It's the last one. So I gotta watch out for my leg. So what we're doing is doing squat, jump, reach. Squat, and then you go into that to the jump. Squat, jump, reach. Which you reach out. I just can't because my ceiling, but you're gonna reach up. And if you gotta go back to a partial squatted position to get that jump, that's what's kind of gonna look like at full speed. All right, and that's the last one before we gotta have moving distance space. So we're gonna go outside and do all the shuttle exercises. What we're doing is we're bringing the stuff inside that we would normally be doing outside with distance to move. Okay, so a side step lunge. That's gonna be kind of back to that around the world exercise we were doing, right? Where we're coming down, but instead of reaching around and doing all that, we're just gonna keep going, all right? And normally we would just do this all the way to the right until we can't go anymore. But okay, so coming this way, and I'll switch so you guys can see. You're dragging the inside of your muscles, right? You're dragging the inside right here so that you're feeling a pull. It doesn't have to be, Arnold Schwarzenegger's right away. You're just dragging that inside muscle right there on the inside of this one. Okay, so all you're doing, you're gonna drag that until it feels warmed up. Same thing.
That's the side step lunge. Okay, try to do about 12. Corkscrew lunge. This one's a little bit tricky. This one's a little bit tricky. You're reaching behind right here. So it's kind of like this twist. All right, so keep your one foot forward, bring your other one behind, and you're gonna basically look for a nice corkscrew to your lower back. So from the side. The whole point is to be able to turn as much this way. That's where it's really stretching it out. So if I'm going this way, the idea is to turn into the raised knee. Okay, corkscrew lunge. Okay, that moves right into the next one. Lunge and reach, which is a regular lunge again, but you're reaching into it. This time, your feet are staying lined up. So you'll just do a walking forward motion, reach over, just like that. Going this way, just do one or two that way and back. That's it. The lunge and reach. Now we got verticals and laterals. These are very easy. You're going vertically, so you're trying to bring your knees up high, like this. And you do that till you're warmed up. And then you do your butt kicks, which you just try and kick your butt. And do that a long way. Okay, do that a few times. It's all based on how much exercise you need, which we all need more. Okay, then laterals, verticals and laterals. Laterals are kind of like the lunge, but it's a shuffle, it's skip. So 1, 2, 3, but there's coming off the ground as well. That's what we're doing. Nothing crazy. It's a vertical shuffle. It's a gallop. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to take that same concept and we're going to give it a twist, just like we did earlier. Okay, so it's like this, coming over, twisting our hips. And we're stepping forward and back. Forward, back, forward. Alright? And it's either called a karaoke or a corkscrew shuffle or whatever chicken scoop stuff from where you're from. That's what they call it. And just focus on getting a nice twisting motion in your upper body to your lower body. corkscrew. I call it karaoke. Karaoke shuffle. All right, and then they call it crossovers too. Crossovers is another name. Okay, and then shuttle run. Shuttle run, basically, we go jog, touch the ground, and we go medium jog, touch the ground, medium jog, then we go sprint as fast as we can. So, all the warm-up stuff is done. We've already increased our strength. We haven't done a whole lot of work. Okay, that takes about 30 minutes at the most. If you're having a hard time. Now, granted, if you show up having not exercised at all, this is going to be a major workout for you. But you're only doing it once this week. Okay? So just make it through it, do every exercise, do 12 of each. That's the warm-up exercise. That's what's going to be leading into the regular exercises, which are your core exercises, your ab exercises, your cardio, and your calisthenics. Okay, so I forgot stretch on your own. Okay, stretch on your own is just kind of, you're just doing whatever little thing feels like it needs to be moved around a little bit. Okay, you're looking for that stuff in your body. Okay, maybe we didn't get enough of these. You can always do more leg lifts. Always. Okay, usually you're just finishing this up while everybody else is getting their stuff done, and we're planning on what we're going to do for our regular exercise. Okay, so never stop moving. When you rest, make sure you rest properly. And this is just the warm-up, but let's do a before and after pose. Okay, a slight flex, and I didn't do anything except for a warm-up. Okay, let's go get it. We are a couple minutes past our warm-up routine, and that's basically what it's going to be. It's going to be the same kind of thing. All right. The important thing now, start learning about cool down. Okay, the cool down process. I'll post more about that when I get to it. But today I just wanted to get the warm up there. Make sure you guys are hydrating. This is what you're going to be doing. I'll record another one tomorrow for Wednesday, so that we're on the same calendar. I'll record one for Wednesday, but I'm not going to be talking through it. I'm just going to set up the camera for one shot. I'll do some guitar or something like that, and I'll go through the exercise routine, and that's it. I'm going to do the warm-up, get you guys through Wednesday, and I'm going to get the cool down for you so that we can learn that as well. That way when we're going into week 2, you guys are going to have it, you girls are going to have it, you women are going to have it, you all. If I say guys, it means everybody. Sorry. Humankind. Sorry. All right. 1 is more than 0. If you came today, you did way more than 0. Everything that you fast, everything that you sacrifice for the better good, God's going to give you a reward for that. So remember to sacrifice some of the stuff you like, to put important things, to help people, etc. Making your body a better machine of God is going to make you a better neighbor. It's going to make you love more. It's going to make everything better. Okay, if everybody was doing a little bit more to be better, everything would be better. If other people are better, that means you're better. So it's 1 is more than 0. All right. The positive has to come first. All right. Or else we would just be shrinking down into infinite nothingness. But we're not. We're expanding. That's because everything that was made, it was good. All right. So we did the warm up. I am stalling because I just want to kind of go over everything and see what I'm missing. I'm missing something from the Bible. That's what I'm missing. What is it? 22:36. Let's see. Back in the book of Matthew again. 22:36. 22, 36. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Okay, so that's mind, body, and spirit. That's literally with your heart, that's exercise. With your soul, that's your spirit, and with your mind, that's making decisions that are better for not only you, but for your neighbors, and in accordance with what this basic instructions in this book tells us are the secrets to living a better life. And not just for us in the immediate present, but for our grandchildren, etc., and whoever we're leaving this world to. And some people just don't care. And then Jesus said, This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Okay? Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Okay, so people who follow these two rules, they will naturally follow the other rules that are set in place because that's adherent to the first two rules. And in the range of Italian, there are only two rules. Okay, one is you gotta look cool. So if you don't look cool, you're doing something wrong. Okay, you need to be doing it the right way. You need to be stronger, you need to be faster, you need to be more disciplined, you need to be more respectful, you need to be more helpful, more selfless. Okay, rule number 2 is always know where you're going. And then if you don't know where you're going, refer to rule number 1, right? And the coolest thing there is to do is to be safe, effective, efficient, and a good neighbor. That's it for today. We'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. Ad lib. We got an ad lib. Alright, so do not drink coffee after you work out. It's going to not help you get hydrated. But do eat your protein. I got tuna fish here, and your fruits and vegetables. I got strawberries and tuna fish. I'm poor, so that's all I can afford. But you want to consume your protein. You want to consume your protein within a 30-minute window after you're done working out. So if you're using over-the-counter supplements, something like that, you want to consume that almost immediately after you're done with the workout and cool down. Okay, your body starts to metabolize and consume the protein immediately after that 30-minute window. Once it knows that it's done exercising, it's going to start the metabolizing process and breaking that stuff down, turning it into repair mechanisms for your muscles. Okay, because your muscles, when you exercise them, they are ripped. They actually get ripped on the inside. Okay, there's little tears in there, and those tears are filled with reinforcements. Okay, so whatever cracks and stuff you have in your life, and your personality, and your demeanor, whatever it is, there's room for that reinforcement to go in there, and that, it's going to be from Jesus, not from me. I can't help you with shit. I'm just some dude. You gotta ask Jesus. He's going to be able to help you get through all the motivational personal problems and all that stuff. I'm just here to hopefully entertain you a little bit, maybe motivate you, show you how to do the exercises, and get you on a routine so that we're doing more than 0.